Good day. My name is Mark Higley. I'm Vice President of Regulatory Affairs at VGM Group. And today I'm pleased to offer our fourth tutorial in the Bid Smart 2019 What's New series. And that topic is the Round 2021 Bid Surety Bond. As you can see, this is not a new statute. The 2016 final rule implemented a Medicare Access and CHIP Reauthorization Act of 2015, called MACRA, with provision that required entities bidding in the DME POS competitive bidding program to submit proof of an authorized bid surety bond for each competitive bidding area, or CBA, in which the supplier is bidding. Virtually since the inception of this program, auction experts suggested that the bid bond requirement will help ensure bidders honor their bids and disincentivize unscrupulous bidding. Now, the bond was initially effective for 2019, but as you are now aware, it was delayed to allow CMS opportunities to make certain improvements to the bidding program, including the higher bid ceiling, the maximum winning bid methodology, and lead item pricing, all discussed in the accompanying tutorials on this page. Now, to begin, it's important to note that surety bonds are required for bidding in the 2021 program. They are not the same as the surety bonds that you have required for your DME POS supplier enrollment purposes. In any case, the rule requires that suppliers secure a bond in the amount of $50,000 per each competitive bid area. Let's discuss the timeline. The bidder must submit proof of the bond by the deadline for the bid submission, which is set for September 18th of this year. You may ask, where do you obtain a bond? The Competitive Bid Implementation Contractor website, which is dmecompetitivebid.com, does include a bid surety bonds fact sheet, and I urge all of you to read that. And it indicates that each bidder must obtain a bid surety bond from an authorized surety on the list of certified companies via a link to the Department of the Treasury's website. However, this list includes well over 250 federal sureties, of which several do offer the Medicare enrollment bonds I mentioned, but very few are participating in the 2021 bid program. On this page, you can see the official timeline and some selection of bonding entities of which you may obtain more information and a quotation for securing the Medicare bid bond. Again, the deadline is September 18th of 2019, and we urge you to apply for your bond now. Let's review some specifics. The bond is not per product category. Whether you bid in 1 or 16 categories, only one bond is required per competitive bid area. And importantly, the premium is immediately earned. That is, there are no refunds from the surety entities for suppliers whose bids are not accepted, nor are there refunds for suppliers who are offered contracts. Now, this feature corresponds to, again, previous auction experts who opined that pay-to-play concept, the 130 bid markets, they might be flooded with inappropriate bidders who may not possess the requisite financial wherewithal, proximity to the patients, or perhaps are even gaming the system in an attempt to secure the contract. Industry stakeholders concur that while the bond premium may be an additional burden to the supplier, it is minor when compared to the likely improvement in suitable contractors serving patients in the actual markets in which they operate. Now, let's talk about a potential confusing issue. As you are aware from a previous tutorial, bidding entities now only bid on one lead item, one HCPCS code. Now, those contract offers will be sorted from the lowest acceptable bid amount, that company, for the lead item, to the highest. The array of companies that are being offered a contract will then be reviewed to find which is the median, that is the middle offer among those companies that are offered contracts. If your bid is higher than the median amount, you may reject the offer with no penalty. That is no threat of a $50,000 call on your bid bond. However, if your bid fell below that median, you are required to accept the contract offer with the $50,000 penalty applying if you do not. And yes, CMS will notify you when you receive your contract of whether you were above or below that median. Now, the request for bid instructions that is on the official website dmecompetitivebid.com includes a few terms that may be confusing to some. One is the composite bid rate. In previous rounds, all the category codes received bid amounts, and those were combined into a rather complicated composite amount. Now, rulemaking language included this term, and as the new program now includes only one bid item, that is the lead item per category, the reference to composite remains. So don't be confused. There is no composite bid of all the codes, it's just the lead item. So again, if your bid was higher than the median, you may reject the offer, and if it is below, you must accept the offer. Now, let's look at a visual representation of this issue. We have here, I guess you would call it a graduated beaker that begins at 0 and ends at the top at 1,000. We have an example of a widget that has a bid ceiling of $100, and we are going to have 30 or more suppliers submit bids for this widget. Now, if you look at the bottom, several suppliers have offered bids that were not accepted. Now, these are not bona fide bids, and bona fide bids are explained within a fact sheet at dmecompetitivebid.com. But assuming that the first bid that is acceptable is bidder number 5 at $50, the process to determine the clearing price or the maximum bid is array the bids from low to high and add the amount of supplier capacity units that are offered into the competitive bid area. When the limit of 10,000 in this example is reached, we have not only a bid minimum, which was $50, we have a bid maximum, or the clearing price, at $76.50, of which all bidders will receive that $76.50. But we also have now the median bid, which approximates bidder number 12 at $65.89. Now, this number at $65.89 does not represent what the bidders will be paid. They'll be paid $76.50, but it does represent the median price. Thus, suppliers 5 through 12 that bid at or below the median must accept this contract offer. Bidders 13 through 19 may reject the contract offer, and if sufficient bidders do reject the contract offer, there might be additional offers to bidders 20 through 25 and thereon until there is sufficient bidders to complete the capacity needed. Now, to be clear, that clearing price of $76.50 will not change. So again, this diagram is to demonstrate the median bid, not such that the median bid will be paid to suppliers at $65.89, but only to demonstrate the middle bid amount such that suppliers can opt out of their competitive bid offer with no penalty to the bid bond, and those that are below that amount must accept the offer. We'll continue on to a little bit of a boilerplate. The surety bond issued must include at the minimum the bidding entity's legal business name as the principal or the obligor to the bond. Now, this is the same company name that the business organization information section that you will complete in Form A in DBIDs. And then you'll include the name and the National Association of Insurance Commissioners number of the authorized surety. CMS will be the named obligee, the CBA covered by the bond number, the date of issuance, and the value at $50,000. And finally, you might be interested in how are you released from your bid bond liability. Now, for supply awarded contracts, if the forfeiture conditions do not exist, then the bond liability, that is the $50,000, will then be returned to the bidding entity within 90 days of the announcement of the round 2021 contract suppliers within that CBA. Now, we expect this to be in the fall of 2021, perhaps in November. Why that late? You'll notice that the risk, if you will use that term, for the bond liability expires after 90 days. So to be clear, those contractors that fell underneath the median and must have accepted the bid offer, the risk of that $50,000 expires 90 days after the announcement of the contract suppliers. Industry stakeholders believe that because of the timeline where the program begins January 1 of 2021, that the announcement will fall late in 2020. There is some security in those contract offers will be included. Now, CMS will notify the bidding entity if it did not meet the forfeiture requirements, and the bid surety bond will not be collected. So in other words, CMS will electronically issue a notice not only to the bidding supplier, but to the surety bond entity as well. Lastly, the rule established penalties for bidders that provide falsified surety bonds or accept a contract offer and then renege on it in order to avoid surety bond forfeiture. And lastly, I'm always available for questions. You may contact me at markhigley@vgm.com, mark.higley@vgm.com, or via my cell phone at 319-504-9515. And thank you for participating in today's tutorial.